Welcome to Story Scaling by podcastvideos.com, where creators share the truth behind the content, the grind, and the growth. In 3, 2, 1, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, this is Story Scaling. I am Bang here with a special friend of mine,
Eddie Canyon. My mom says I'm special too. This was crazy.
That is crazy. Bro, I'm jumping into your bio.
Let's go.
All right, tell me what you think about this.
All right.
Anything you would add, anything you would take away. And bro, you semi-heavy in these streets, so it spit out too.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read both of them.
Let's go.
We're just gonna go straight into it.
All right.
It says, Sean Cannon, known online as Eddie Canyon, is a Northwest Arkansas-based technologist, writer, and creative thinker who brings heart and humor to everything he does. By day, he leads as an application development manager and AI prompt engineer, pushing the boundaries of what tech can do for people. By night, under the name Eddie Canyon, he explores personal growth, creative identity, and small town storytelling. Digital projects can be found on eddiecanyon.com.
Wow.
That's the first one.
Not bad. That one's AI. I could tell that was AI.
Nah, bro, I'll put a little sauce in there. That's dope. Don't do me like that.
My bad.
That's both of us, bro.
All right.
I told AI like da-da-da-da, and then it was like, okay, boom.
All right. The centaur, half man, half robot.
You feel me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. This is the second one. Okay. It says, our guest today is Sean Cannon, though you might know him as Eddie Canyon, a storyteller, technologist, and creative spirit in Northwest Arkansas. By day, he leads as an AI and software engineer, but his deeper work lies at eddiecanyon.com, where he shares essays and reflections on life, identity, and creativity from the perspective of a small town misfit with a big heart. Whether he's coding or writing, Sean brings vulnerability, wit, and intention to everything he does. Let's get into it.
Wow. Okay.
That's you, bro. When you hear this, what do you think about that?
My mind does kind of jump to, a lot of people think artificial intelligence is actually a mirror of humanity. And so it's actually really interesting to have a mirror reflection.
Yeah.
Is that really me? That sounds kind of like me, I ain't gonna lie.
Bro, there are no shallow conversations with you.
Nah.
Which is dope as a friend, and as a spectator who's like, man, everything you do, I feel like there is always another layer. Even if it's something that seems simple, there's always another layer there.
Yeah.
How did that come about, especially when it comes to thoughtfulness as it pertains to?
Man, I mean, I grew up as an only child. And so, it was me and my imagination. My mom was really cool about always breaking it down for me, like life. She read a lot. We watched a lot of movies and TV shows, and she was always telling me like, oh, this actor was in that, or did you know that that's not real? Like, they're talking about this thing in history, but actually they're changing the story to make it fit as a story, but the true story is blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. So it kind of started to expand my mind. And then I remember it was like in high school, I had this little catchphrase, and I would like say something, I'd be like, think about it afterward, because I always wanted to get people thinking, because I like to think. And sadly enough, I don't think people think a lot these days. And so I'm like, man, let's go deeper, because life is deep. Life is very deep.
Yeah.
So
I was watching a video of this man. I wish I could remember his name. They call him the godfather of AI.
Yeah, he just got the Nobel Prize.
Okay, boom.
Yeah.
Of course you're familiar.
Yeah.
That dude.
Yeah.
And so he says that we aren't trained to use our brain much anymore at all. And you can see it when you go into the store. Even if you know where Walmart is, you still gonna plug it into your GPS just to make sure. Or it's like, dang, it's 2 + 2 really 4? Let me pull out my calculator. And so first question is, why do you think that is? Why do you think that we aren't using our brain as much anymore? Like, how do we use our brain?
Yeah, great question. So there's 2 different people you could look at that have unpacked this. First, this guy I found, Neil Postman. He's a 20th century, philosopher, media talking about person. And he basically breaks down in this book, Technopoly, he talks about the parable of Thoth. And so it's basically like this Egyptian king and this like, smart dude who basically comes up, and they're presenting to the Egyptian king, like, hey, do you want these tools, these various like abilities? And one of them is writing. And I forget which one calls it out, but one of them calls out and it's like, man, if as soon as they learn to write, they're going to stop thinking. Because their ideas are now on paper and not in their head, or, papyrus or whatever. apparently Pythagoras, the dude who came up with the Pythagorean theorem, is also big on we don't write nothing down. It's all got to be in your head. We're going to conversate about it. You got to lock in and remember it. And so really, I think people don't think because over time we've offloaded that to tools. We don't carry the epic poetry anymore. We write it down. You know, I don't want to know how to get to a place. Google Maps will do it for me. I don't want to have to be generative and create ideas. AI will do it for me. I don't want to have to sing on key. Auto-tune will do it for me. Shouts out to Solo. He don't use the grid. Shouts out Dilla. They don't use the grid because they were like, man, just feel it. If it's a little, life's a little, But we keep offloading things to tools, which in some sense is a good thing, but also can atrophy your most important muscle.
Yeah. Which is what?
Ooh. I would say the brain, but I think the heart might be it. And so it's one thing to offload the brain, but man, if you offload the heart, what you got left?
You are very well said. Crazy. You are a multi-hyphenate human being.
Yeah.
You are a technologist. I agree with that.
Right on.
You're a writer, create content, storyteller, speaker, husband, the list goes on, father, like da. How do you describe yourself, especially as it pertains to these artistic skills and gifts that you develop over the years? What do you think about yourself as first?
Man, it's a little cliche, but like a creative. It'd probably be like an all-encompassing one. I actually try to use technologist to try to like grab a little bit of attention and pique some curiosity, because especially when it's like, oh, he's a rapper or a producer and technologist, what's he talking about? You know what I mean? I do like the term artist for the music, because it's like, man, are we writing? Are we making beats? Am I playing guitar? You know, am I singing? Am I rapping? So
yeah,
across the board, really.
Yeah. You tell your story in various ways, through songs, through, blurbs. I was reading some on your website and I'm just like, again, it brings me back to this. Everything you do is intention and has that voice. You spoke a little bit about it when you were saying, like, my mom raised me to think. Where did you find your voice? Like, how did you know? Because there's a through line of everything that you do. And like I said, in a lot of ways, that through line is just intention. Even the stuff that you just put out is like, it's organized chaos. You know what I'm saying? It's organized noise. Shout out to the Dungeon family. You know what I'm saying? But like,
yeah,
and so where did that voice come from, and how did you find your own?
Whew. Being real, I don't think I found it yet. I'm still on the search. It was probably hip hop that really I first found a place where I heard someone put words to something that I had never been able to articulate, but could identify with immediately. And I remember being like, what is that? How did they do that? Or maybe it was a bar that pointed something out that you're like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. It was like a perspective on something. And once I heard that, I was like, I want to do that. And then I started to envision like, okay, well, if Nas is looking at the world and speaking about it this way, if Outkast is looking at it this way, if Kanye's doing this, what would mine look like? To this day, I don't think I found it yet, to being real.
Does anybody ever find it? Or is it always a continuous evolution? And even when you think you find it now, you've experienced new life and you on something else completely different?
From what I can tell, that seems to be it.
Yeah.
But I will say that there's some people who just like lightning in a bottle. Like, they captured it, they know it, we know it, history knows it, and they get put down as like, yeah, they did it.
They're just dialed in.
They did it. Yeah. At least for that moment, even if they fall off or they go off left field later, for the moment, they really hit it. Yeah. And I think that's what we're so drawn to. That's why we pay so much attention to these type of people. That's why we need artists in the community, because the artist is the one on the brink of what is known.
Yeah,
they're reaching into the unknown and then pulling it into the unknown. Or taking the known and really showing you what it is. Like, you may think you know it, and the artist will reach in, pull it out, and then you're all of a sudden like, oh snap, I never thought about it that way. And they're showing you something that you ain't really seen, or that you've seen but can't articulate.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to do.
Let's talk social media. Yeah. Yep. And I say the word, what you got a response. What is that?
Me and Katie, my wife, have been using two words in the past 2 weeks, or like two different phrases. Demon Square. And I said, what was it? It was Demon Square, or my phone. You know how you can rename your phone device? My phone is called My Existential Crisis Rectangle. So if I'm like pairing on Bluetooth,
you're gonna say My Existential Crisis Rectangle.
That's what pulls up.
Let's talk about it. This is a 10-part series in and of itself. Because you got social media as itself, as a tool, in the same way that a hammer is a tool. If you use it to build your house, it's great. If you hit somebody in the head, it's terrible.
We the nails getting hammered, though. We the nails getting hammered, and they telling us we got a hammer in our hands. Because I think in its purest form, the internet is a beautiful, people connecting, communicating to each other, sharing ideas, aggregating
Some people building their infrastructures and careers and legacies and wealth, and right?
Yeah, it's beautiful, but at the end of the day, the fallen world is such that it is corrupt and it is broken, and it's used as exploitation, man. Like, the thing is like, people have said before, like, if you don't pay for it, you are the product. At the end of the day, social media is not designed for you to connect with your friends. It's meant for Meta to gather data and make money off of advertising. And like, that's how it's built. And Marshall McLuhan, this really fascinating dude again from the 20th century, looking at all sorts of media, he came up with this phrase, the medium is the message. And his idea was basically like, whatever the message goes through, the medium doesn't just inform the message, it becomes it. And to me, I look at social media, and social media is not about true connection. It's not about truly being known and appreciated. It's about likes. It's about aesthetic. It's about, let me show off the best moments of me. It's about short and quick, grab your attention. It's about personalized. It's like, let me only show you what you really care about or what you really don't care about to get you mad. Like, it's not truly geared for human flourishing from what I can tell.
It's interesting because it's especially now that more than it ever has been. It may have always been that, but you could be disguised back in the day when it didn't really have the like button or all of these, metrics that we now have. Facebook didn't have that, Instagram didn't have that initially, and now they do. And so it's almost like it's not even being hidden anymore. You know what I mean? What does that mean for the creative who is showing up in this world that is ran by social media?
I mean, the way I look at it is you got to meet people where they're at, sadly. And I say that sadly, not even like judging people, because I use it myself. I get caught up on it myself. It's more just like, that's the reality of the world we live in. And it's like, how are you going to use that to your advantage? How are you going to try to raise awareness? How are you going to be aware of it yourself? Like, how do I not get caught up in a thirst trap or get caught up in like, man, I'm trying to do this performative and like, look this way, look that way. Like, because back to the intent thing, like, I just want to share some beautiful art, and I want to connect with people who are doing that.
For sure.
And in real life, like, I'm not going to walk around and like see them at the spot that we kick it at. Because we don't kick it like that. A handful of us do, but like the community, the larger, broader community that I'm usually reaching on social media, we're not IRL together like that. So how am I going to reach you? Well, I know you probably on there. So that's where we're going to connect for now.
Does that, I think our generation, we're people who experience life before you had a phone. Like, when you had to pull up on me to see me, when you would hop on your bike and leave at noon and wouldn't come back till the street lights came on. You know what I mean? And so you've experienced that, and then now you see where things are hyper digital now, and the touch points are, you feel like you've seen people because they come up on your story every day, but you haven't laid your eyes on them in years. You know what I mean? And so, like, for you, how does that affect your creative process when it comes to like knowing that we aren't IRL as much as we used to be? So what does that mean for EC? You just dropped a single, like, and you're showing up in these spaces as and so talk about your process being so aware of what social media is used for and like how it can go, a certain way.
So like, in the back of my mind, I now almost have to think about like, how can I play this? How can I use this to my advantage? And even as an artist, like, sometimes I think, is there an artistic way to kind of reveal my perspective through the art itself, through the medium itself, and kind of do one of these things that kind of flips it? So like, for one of my first like big performances, shout out Cash, I got the CXF grant, and what I did for that was it was a live performance. me rapping on stage. And what I did was I used the grant money to help I built this box. It looked like a phone booth without the front.
Crazy, by the way.
Yeah. And the back, thank you for that. And on the back side of it, it had like motherboards. And then on the two sides of it, it had kind of like the windows, and they were framed in TV frames like that. I literally just ripped the plastic off of big screen TVs and put it on there. And in the front, I had eyeballs hanging. So it was like a curtain of eyeballs. And the idea was like, I had this whole big stage that I'm on, but I didn't leave the box for most of the performance. And the idea was like, look at how confined my creativity has to be to grab y'all's eyeballs and to be presented where I'll be seen. And it was only on the last track that I actually jumped out and used the full stage. And it was basically saying like, now I'm free from my prison. Now I'm free from this tight little box to do what I want. But the point was that like most of the time I'm not seen in those spaces. The only place I'm really paid attention to is when I'm in this box and I conform to it. So that was kind of, would I have been able to do something else if I didn't have that to comment on?
Yeah.
The irony is yes, but at the same time, it also fueled my creativity to be like, well, how can I comment on this limitation I'm presented with?
Yeah.
So it kind of helped as much as it was kind of like I'm commenting on this bad thing. It also helps with the creativity. So
how do you not get caught in the cycle, or do you get caught up in the oh man, everything, especially in the hip hop space, is hyper controversial just for the sake of clickbait? Like, it's people that saying stuff that they may or may not believe, but you got to do it if you want to get popping. Or, it's folks out there that hitting a little dance. Like, what make you say, I'm not going to, take this route, take the bait, so to speak, and stay true to, or are you out there dancing? Like, you dropped a single today. Are you finna hit it when you walk out of here? Like, talk to me. What's the line, and how do you stay grounded in what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm actually going to quote an American poet that I ran across recently. His name's Mexico Dro. He said, I ain't doing none of that pump to go viral.
It's a good one.
That hit home, bro.
I just found out about Dro. He tough.
He tough, bro.
He tough.
He that like grown man off the business.
Yeah.
I'm like that. We need to put him up there.
He got a nostalgic feel too. Like, it feels like vintage Atlanta to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sound like Jeezy, really. Yeah.
Shouts out Black Mass, this dude who be doing these crazy mashups. He put him on a Jeezy beat.
Gas.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But no, man, I've gotten to the point where like I've taught myself to not care. Cause I used to be, and like I still have it, like I used to be so concerned with like hype, with where the crowd was, with like what's the next thing, and then trying to anticipate so I could be on the bleeding edge, like what's the next thing, or how could I like subvert the people who do it just for popularity's sake and go back to the original thing that was the dope thing that got the thing popular in the first place. And like, man, it was honestly some wisdom from Murs himself. Like,
shout Murs.
He talked about how like success is completion when it comes to creativity, because you can't control how it's received. You can't control whether or not it goes viral. You can't control the feedback you get from it. The only thing you can control is that you finish the project you set out to do. And I've really just been looking at like, man, at the end of the day, what do I want to create? Let's just go do that.
Yeah. And
enjoy the process. And like, I also kind of trust I'll find my people along the way. And so far that's been true.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
10-second praise break. Amen, amen, amen.
Amen.
Somebody seeking to become an artist, a writer, create any type of content. What is your one you must do, two you must not do? And before we even get there, put that in the back of your mouth. Put a pin right there. Before we even get there, you speak of this idea of not caring. I think it's an art. Literally, I wrote down a concept today that says, just do it, no one cares. How do you get there? Because no matter what we say, we do care.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's to your point. That's the big reason why we got social media in the first place, is to flex and put our highlights on there, which is interesting because you mentioned this idea of subverting things. We grew up in the era where like you had to be cool and you had to broadcast it.
Right.
The shoes had to be flyer than everybody else's. Like the chains it got to the point where folks started wearing chains and tucking them just to subconsciously say like, you see it though, but you know what I mean? And so now it's opposite. People want to see your vulnerable moments because new generation is so fed up with things looking fake polished and people pretending to be happy. And so like they crying on TikTok now and they showing like, man, I just moved out my crib to try to pursue my dream, fell flat on my face. And so it's almost the opposite. Like we came up in the, you had to be fly. You couldn't say nothing about the low moments. And folks are sick of that now. And now they're craving the authenticity. And so anyways, which is crazy. We could talk a long time about that, but we care no matter what we say, which is kind of why we position ourselves and because we're human. Of course you're going to care if somebody. And so I do agree with you. I think there is a muscle that you can build, and I think there's a skill set that you can acquire that is the art of not caring. Mm-hmm. How do you get there? To the content creator out there, to the artist out there that's like, man, I'm sensitive about what I do. Man, I don't want to post because I don't want it to fall flat and now I look crazy. Like, how do you get to the art of not caring?
Man, so I'm gonna have to bring my faith into this one because like I think it was a journey. It was a many year journey, but it all started with, I think, really trying to lock in when Jesus says, what does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? For if you gain the world and lose your soul, like you got nothing. I think once I really started to accept that as true, which at first, sometimes with Jesus, it's hard, man, because like you may not observe it to be true, and you kind of have to trust it and be like, well, like let's see. It's kind of like he has a hypothesis, and then, all right, let's see if what he's saying is real.
In your experience, do most of that stuff come back real?
Yes.
It's crazy how that works.
100%.
Crazy.
100%. Sometimes more real than I even thought. When I like halfway got there, I was like, oh, I think I start to see it. And then after the fact, I'm like, that was realer than I thought. Mm-hmm. So like the crazy thing with that is I started to really pay attention to like, well, what happened to people who did get the world? Mm-hmm. And it's like, go around and talk to people who really, really love music. Ask them how much they listen to Elvis. Mm-hmm. Nobody that I know of really listens to Elvis like that. But if you wind the clock back and you go and look, the king of rock and roll, people were screaming when that dude came out. Like, he was known all over the place. And I'm like, no offense, he's a dead celebrity now. Or like you can go even further back into history and start looking at people who it's like, yeah, their name is cemented in the historical whatever, but like they're not making the impact they were when they were popping. And in some senses, there's like a beautiful nature of like, okay, they contributed something, they inspired somebody, like they laid the groundwork for what came later. But like, for me, at the end of the day, it's like, if it's about me experiencing whatever glory I'm aiming for, like, it's going to end. It's going to move on. Like, you're going to either get washed up or you're going to die young, or people are just going to move on. And you're not going to be that thing that you play for. Because at the end of the day, like, life is fleeting and people are fickle. The crowd is fickle, you know, like they're not going to pay attention to you the whole time. And even then, like, let's say you had the biggest show, Madison Square Garden, yada, yada, yada. Like, you got like an hour or two with them and it was just off of music. Like, do they care anything else about any of you? Maybe you put that in the music. You probably didn't, because you probably made the music to get big in the first place if you're there. Maybe, like, I'm not trying to be too cynical, but at the end of the day, I think what I realized was like, what's worth caring about? All that to say, like, I think I've been able to find with creativity and with this music and with the community and with all of it, like, I've found the pieces of it that to me are worth caring about, that are more than here's how I look, here's how I, you know, here's all the accolades I get, blah, 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 blah. Like, I used to want to make it. Now I just want to make it. When it comes, I'll say that again. When it comes to music, I used to want to make it. Now I just want to make it. know what I'm saying?
This your first time premiering that, or you had that?
Nah, I actually said that at the night before the hip hop thing at the Momentary we did a while back. I was a shouts out Tupac as a Digital Underground backup dancer. I was a backup dancer for Per Jasper. So, hey, Tupac did it. I figured I would too.
I used to want to make it. Now I just want to make it.
Now I just want to make it. Now I just want to make it, bro. And yeah, I want to perform it. And yeah, I want to, slang a vinyl. So I press the vinyl. Yeah, I want to make an app and put it out there and challenge the system. So I'm doing that. Yeah, I want to drop some singles and let people listen to some music. So I'm doing that too. Like I'm doing that. Single out today, single out next Tuesday, single out for the next 5 weeks until the album drop is what I'm doing right now. And I got music video ideas, and you don't stop. And I'm just saying, like, success is completion. Shouts out merch. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. For that person that's trying to get started.
Yeah.
That's like, I care what people say. That's like, why me? It's 1,000 million billion content creators out there. I don't know where my data's going. Any reason, you know what I mean? They're afraid to get started. What do you say to that person? What's the number one, you must do this now? And then what's the number one, don't do this?
Man, it's hard because I'm still learning this, but at the end, I just do the work. Just do the thing. Just do the creating. Just do the networking. Just do the research. Just get in there and get your hands dirty. Just figure out your creative process. And I would say, if I could go back and tell myself, I would tell myself, don't expect it to be perfect at first. And don't work on perfection. If anything, work on the process itself. Yeah. Because the process will breed that thing you're looking for, Lord willing, one day. But if you focus on the perfection, like I did, you'll actually miss the process, because anything you create that's not perfect will stop you. Because then you'll say, well, I can't make the perfect thing, so I'm not ready yet. And then ironically, what I did was I stopped creating for a while, because I was like, anytime I would attempt, and as soon as I hit that, it's not that good, all right, I got to pull back until I'm perfect. The ironic thing is, you don't get to perfect without the practice. And so just do the work. Just get your pencil, get your pad, get whatever and start going.
What else you got? 60-second rapid fire. Give me everything you got.
Right now, I'm trying to figure out, is AI the Antichrist? Is AI the second coming of Christ? Or is it an inconsequential advancement in human history that doesn't really mean that much? Or somewhere in between? And are aliens real? And why is the government not telling us what's up? If you want to get trippy. That's the Joe Rogan side of it. I don't even rock with Joe Rogan like that. I used to rock with Fear Factor, though.
Yeah.
I was tight.
He was on that? Oh, yeah. He was the host of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, dog.
That's crazy. Is that what Buck got it? No, he was already on before then. He was UFC before there. Right. Then he did Fear Factor. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Bro, thanks for stopping through. We got to do this again for sure.
For sure.
Single dropping every week.
Yeah.
Starting today for the next 5 weeks.
At least 5. I mean, I got a handful of singles that I'm dropping. I got the album coming out on vinyl, and I vibe coded an app for it. I'm still trying to figure the kinks out of that. Yeah. Then I'm gonna release that on the App Store. And the idea is that you come to the App Store, you download the app, it's got the tracks on it. It's like buying a CD. You can play it on your phone. You can play it with no internet. So I'm trying to get around the fact that they don't pay us nothing for these streams, because that music is meaningful, man. Absolutely. I put work into that.
Absolutely.
So
you put your heart into that.
Exactly. So we coming, bro.
Yeah. I did a single a week for 6 weeks, I think, a couple months ago. And dropped on Tuesday, interestingly enough. What made you take that route?
Man, like, it was just really cool. I'll be honest. I was looking through just my folder of stuff that I was like, hey, this stuff is actually kind of finished. And I was like, it's just sitting there, man. Like, put it out.
I love it.
Just throw it out there. And
the hard drive.
Yeah, and build up a little bit of anticipation. This goes back to our previous conversation, but it wasn't even just like trying to flex. It was more just trying to show the other people in the community, like, hey man, I've been in the gym. Like, I'm about this. Like, I care about the same thing you care about too. Like, I didn't just walk away I've been in the lab. Let me show my work. You know what I'm saying?
You kind of trying to flex your muscle a little bit.
A little bit, just to be like, hey man, I'm out here. Let's work. Let's talk. Let's communicate. Let's collaborate. Like I didn't fall off. Like I'm not like I didn't run away. You know, because I hate to see it when someone has a passion and they lose it. And I'm trying to like, if anything, man, just keep it strong.
Yeah. Who was that dream collaboration? Whether that be artist, producer, creative director.
It's Tyler, the creator. No lie. And that was before the cameo recently.
What you talking about, bro? What cameo?
Before people started thinking he was you.
What you mean, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, because as far as creativity is concerned, I've heard that creativity is really like opening yourself up to the zeitgeist and the moment that's happening. And there's ideas that are trying to enter, good or bad. They're trying to enter and they're looking for a vehicle. And it's about whoever can climb the mountain, get struck by lightning, and then distribute the electricity. And like this isn't even on some like weird stuff about me. This is more just like I've experienced that. I had a lot of thoughts and like very vague ideas of what it could look like to be like a skater or rapper who was into Tumblr and was like a little alternative. And like,
I mean, you had the Tyler the Creator concept in your head before he took it.
Right. And so when he showed up, I literally said, that's exactly how I would do it. But he was in the perfect position. You know, he had the perfect people around him. It was a perfect storm. And look at him, like he showed that it wasn't just a one-off, like he's continued a career. So
he didn't get lucky, that's for sure.
Nah, it shows that and maybe he did, but maybe he not only got lucky, but what they say that success is when luck and preparation meet.
Yeah.
So
I think I got this theory where luck, it can't strike twice. You know what I mean? Like at that point, you know, maybe what's the one where he ate the roach and then it went viral? Yonkers. Maybe Yonkers is luck. Because you got some shock value, some polarizing stuff, right? And then you come back with, you know, the internet and what's the group who Our Future and all these guys, right? And then you start dropping, oh snap, you got She with Frank Ocean, and then you got Igor, Call Me If You Get Lost, and the list goes on, and he topping the charts with alternative rap. You know what I mean? And so at some point it's like he in the gym.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he getting reps in. That's why this is hitting like it's hitting.
Right.
So anyways, that's dope, bro. I'll see what I can do as far as, you know, pulling some strings there.
Right.
I know somebody.
Let's go.
Where can we follow you?
Man, follow me unfortunately on Instagram.
Okay.
eddie.canyon. I'm gonna meet you where you're at. I also got my website, eddiecanyon.com. So that's eddiecanyon.com. There's no period in that one. And then man, I try to pop out at local events, support people, get some of that IRL interaction. And yeah, bro, I'm also on GitHub. I don't really got much out there right there.
That's all right. I'm out there. Any shows for you coming up we can catch you?
Man, yeah. Shouts out Play Parker. Better quit playing with him, Parker.
Shout play, man.
Him and Oplex and a couple other putting on a little something. So I'm gonna pop out at that. And then I got some listening parties I'm trying to get organized for when this album drops. So
keep us posted. We can post about it.
Be on the lookout.
Thank you for your time, brother.
Thank you, bro.
EC, baby.
Woo!